Welcome back to Fisher Football Focus, your weekly look into the Cardinal football program. I'm Jacob Rodriguez. The Cardinals bounced back in a big way last weekend, picking up a hard-fought win over Morrisville to secure their first winning season since 2016. We'll take a look back at that victory and hear from head coach Ed Raby and wide receiver Jackson Cusack as Fisher now turns its attention to this Saturday's regular season finale right here at Groundy Stadium. Let's rewind to Saturday and check out the highlights from the Cardinals' big win over Morrisville. The Cardinals traveled to SUNY Morrisville, looking to snap their two-game losing streak and secure their first winning season since 2016. Morrisville had the first go at it, but Jedrick Okowski had other plans when he came flying off the edge and forced a fumble, stopping the Mustangs in their tracks and setting the tone early. The offense couldn't capitalize on the turnover, but the defense picked them right back up, forcing a punt that went awry and set the Cards up deep in Mustang territory. Lister and Whitney saw the field in this contest, and Whitney led the Cards in rushing with 88 yards on 16 attempts. To start off quarter two, Lister connected with Curtis in the back left corner to get on the board, 7-0 Cards. Cardinal defense gave the offense yet another shot at the end zone, but Lister was picked off. Morrisville takes over. The Mustangs would storm down the field, and Isaac Sylvain punched it home to tie it at 7s with 1:49 left in the half. But that was too much time for Mason Lister, who executed the 2-minute drill to perfection. A 10-yard hookup with Ethan Curtis, then threading the needle downfield to Jalen Brantley, and finally to Jackson Cusack for the score. Cards head to halftime leading 14-7. In the third, Lister was putting in work with his legs, but would eventually come out of the game with an injury. Ryan Whitney filled in and led the Cardinals the rest of the way to a 21-7 victory over Morrisville. Shout out to the defense who had 4 red zone stops and held the Mustangs to just 7 points in this one. Cardinals secured their first winning season since 2016, improving to 6-3 and keeping their hopes at a bowl game alive. This team's growth has been one of the biggest storylines of the season, and for Coach Raby, it's the seniors who will always be remembered for helping bring back Fisher football to where it belongs.
We're growing as a team. I think that's a positive. And more importantly, I'm just happy for our guys, happy for our seniors especially. All they've been through to have a winning season at the end of their careers is great, and they'll be remembered as the group that kind of got us back going as a program. So it's an exciting time and definitely proud of the guys.
Offensively, Fisher leaned heavily on its ground attack, and Coach Raby said that the group came in confident that they could establish the run against Morrisville, thanks to an offensive line that really answered the call after a tough couple of weeks.
We've been pretty good at running the ball. We've had multiple games where we were close to that 200-yard mark. We felt confident going in the game that we could run the ball. It was also good to see it was multiple guys, right? It wasn't just one guy. So everyone was contributing, and our offensive line did a great job. I was really happy with how our offensive line responded. I know last week they didn't feel very good about their performance. For them to come out and perform that way, I thought that was a big step for us.
At quarterback, both Mason Lister and Ryan Whitney saw time in the win. Coach Raby said that the early rotation was all about keeping the defense off balance and using Whitney's dual threat ability to create mismatches before Whitney later took over when Lister went down with injury.
Early in the game, we rotated him. That was more, Whitney is kind of like one of those guys, as a dual threat guy. We felt like we could get some things on them with empty in the Q run. Then Lister got hurt in the third quarter. That kind of sealed Whitney being in there. But
okay.
We were planning on rotating him throughout the game. It wasn't something necessarily that we had any certain set number of snaps that we were going to do, but we knew we wanted to do some of that and kind of keep them off balance a little bit because the type of offense that we would run is different for both guys.
I also asked Coach Raby about wide receiver Jackson Cusack, a guy who's quietly set the tone all season with his effort and toughness, to get his thoughts on what makes Jackson such a valuable piece of this Fisher program.
Great performance, and honestly, he's a steady player. I mean, he's a guy that you kind of know what you're going to get out of him. He practices with great effort. He prepares with great effort, and you watch him on film. He's not just doing that in the pass game; it's in the run game too. Like he's dominating on the perimeter in terms of run game. So he's a tough football player. He's the kind of guy that we want in our program, and I like the fact that he's very consistent, and you know what you're going to get out of him.
Despite 4 turnovers against Morrisville, Fisher never panicked. Coach Raby said that resilience and the ability to respond to adversity is exactly what's defined this group all season long.
Not happy about the 4 turnovers, obviously. That's something that we got to get fixed. I was happy with how we responded as a team. We never let it get us down. And our defense, we held strong in some red zone situations after the turnovers. They were able to get a touchdown after one of them, but ultimately, I was really proud about how we responded to adversity, with the way we have been playing, in terms of losing 2 games and then having some of those things happen in the game. Our guys never blinked, and we kept going. So that was what I was most proud about.
On the defensive side, the Cardinals turned in one of their best defensive performances this season, 4 red zone stops and just 7 points allowed. Coach Ramey talked about how proud he is of that group and the younger guys stepping up when they were needed.
I'm super proud of our defensive guys. We have a lot of young guys playing. It's not an excuse, but we've got some injuries that really, we had to go deeper in our depth chart, and the guys have stepped up. We've had some guys play games and execute a high level, and Billy Frank made a big play at the end of the game, to get a stop in the red zone. I was really, really happy with our defensive guys. We played with maximum effort, and our guys were flying to the football, and I expect that we'll do the same thing this week.
Looking ahead, the Cardinals closed the regular season against Alfred State here at home, and Coach Ramey has plenty of respect for what their next competitor brings, especially playmaker Noah Courier and head coach Scott Lynn.
Well, the key is knowing where he's at. They've lined him up all over the place. He's an elite football player. I have a lot of respect for Scott Lynn and how he coaches his team, and it's no doubt that guy is one of the best football players in our league, and we got to know where he's at. You can't really do one thing, though, because they move him around so much.
Yep.
It's really about us lining up, doing our job, and executing, everyone kind of knowing where he is on the field.
After wrapping up with Coach Ramey, I caught up with wide receiver Jackson Cusack and started off by asking him a little about himself off the field.
I'm from Fonda, New York, which is about an hour west of Albany. A little town, very nice place to grow up in personally, I think. I'm an accounting major, and I'm not quite sure what to do after school yet, but I'll definitely be working.
Having been through a couple tough seasons, Cusack said this year just feels different to finally be a part of a winning program that's playing for something meaningful.
It really opens your eyes on how the past really looked, Finally get a winning season, you're like, these past seasons didn't really seem like it, just playing football out there at that point. But it's definitely really nice, and especially look at even some of the older guys. My boy JB up here, can get that boy winning season before he leaves.
That's right.
Other than that, it's just, we're having fun.
Cusack also described how close-knit this group has become, from the locker room to the classroom, saying it truly just feels like one big family.
Yeah, we're just honestly one big family. I like to say it all the time. We're Cardinals as well, but I really think we're one really solid family. And that environment is just, you don't want to be anywhere else. You're in a classroom, you got a couple guys, and they're part of that family. Anywhere else, try to roll together. You're all one family. Great thing to be a part of, honestly.
On the field, Cusack prides himself on being physical and team first, the kind of receiver who loves to block and open lanes for his backs, even when the ball isn't coming his way.
Everybody on the team knows I very pride myself in blocking, kind of try to torture those guys on the outside, just so Cam, Tay, and all our other backs, they get through that first line. They know that I'm blocking my guy and they can trust me to make that super huge play that we need. It's just another play called, honestly. I like to just do my role. Either if I'm not getting the ball, I know someone else is, because they're just going to be just as open. And when it comes my way, I just try to capitalize as much as possible.
And with a bowl game on the line on Saturday, Cusack said it would mean everything to help bring back the standard of Fisher football, the kind of championship culture Coach Ramey's been preaching since day one.
That'd be insane. Ramey says it all the time, bring back the standard. We're a championship football team. We're going to play like a championship football team. And we're just going to go out there and get the job done.
Fisher closes out the regular season this Saturday at noon here at Growney Stadium against Alfred State with a potential bowl game berth on the line. It's been an incredible ride bringing you coverage of the Cardinals all season long, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in along the way. For more on your Cardinal football team, check me out on Instagram at JR Sports Media. I'm Jacob Rodriguez, and as always, go Cardinals!